So the title of this talk is The Numerous Assumptions of Einstein's Special Relativity. Einstein's special relativity is presented by him in 1905 as based on two postulates. By postulates, it probably means assumptions, but as well as those explicitly stated assumptions, there are numerous hidden assumptions. Now this is as per Wikipedia. It talks about the clock hypothesis, and that's an assumption that the rate at which a clock is affected by time dilation, which I prefer to call clock time dilation, does not depend on its acceleration but only on its instantaneous velocity. And this is equivalent to stating that a clock moving along the path P measures the proper time as defined by that equation. And the clock hypothesis was implicitly included in Einstein's 1905 formulation of special relativity, and since then it's become a standard assumption and is usually included in the axioms of special relativity, especially in the light of experimental verification up to very high accelerations in particle accelerators. So Einstein did not explicitly state this assumption. It is taken to be implicitly in his paper. He gave it, but it didn't explicitly state it. So the clock hypothesis really counts as an additional assumption of the two that were stated. A problem that was faced with reconciling special relativity to general relativity, and one way of talking the difference between the two theories, is to say that special relativity doesn't deal properly with acceleration, whereas general relativity does. So when you give a special relativity time dilation equation like this, you only have the speed v in it. There's no acceleration term. That's deemed special relativity not dealing with the acceleration effect on clock time dilation. According to Wikipedia, in physics, Einstein's 1905 theory of special relativity is derived from first principles, now called the postulates of special relativity. Einstein's formulation only uses two postulates, but its derivation implies a few more assumptions. So it's admitting that there's more than two assumptions in the derivation of Einstein's equations. And Wikipedia goes on to say the two postulate basis for special relativity is the one historically used by Einstein, and it remains the starting point today, as Einstein himself later acknowledged the derivation of the Lorentz transformation makes use of some additional assumptions, including spatial homogeneity, isotropy, and memorylessness. So that's three assumptions, three extra assumptions. Well, this other person, Valin Dancy, tells us since 1905, when Einstein introduced the special relativity theory, various researchers independently observed that his theory contains at least one more postulate besides the two postulates stated by him explicitly. Putting together all these observations about the different additional postulates, we will describe here how the special relativity was unfortunately based on 19 postulates, and how most of them were implied and used in Einstein's 1905 article. Later in his article of 1910, and also further in his manuscript written between 1912 and 1914. So this person is saying that special relativity is based on 19 postulates, or postulates presumably being assumptions, so it's 19 assumptions. So the answer to the question, how many assumptions does Einstein's relativity have? And the answer is numerous. It has numerous assumptions. It seems to be the case that extra assumptions are added ad hoc whenever there seems to be a need. It's just a theory of add-ons of moving goalposts, not really a properly defined theory. Going by Einstein, in his 1905 paper, he's saying two postulates, which we take to mean assumptions, and actually it's built on a lot more than just those two assumptions. So consider now Karl Popper. He's a quite famous philosopher of science. This is a picture of Karl Popper. He's one of the 20th century's most influential philosophers of science. Now, Karl Popper believed that a scientific theory should be able to be put to a test and potentially be falsifiable if making wrong predictions. Unfortunately, we have to accept that special relativity is not that type of theory, because its goalposts keep moving. By that I mean extra things keep getting added to it, and it gets modified ad hoc, i.e. special relativity is not a proper theory. It makes no definitive prediction and just keeps getting modified in different ways. Add to that the other problems I have pointed out in other videos, such as it wasn't translated properly from German into English, and what it really is just distorted Newtonian physics. i.e. it is Newtonian physics but has been misrepresented and misunderstood. Hence, mainstream have made numerous mistakes about it. It is more than two assumptions. It has things added to it ad hoc. It's just moving goalposts. It's not making definitive predictions. It's just being modified to say whatever it likes later on. Thank you.